is sunny and in those summer months. Anything to leave in school will be our Wellington boots, any spare clothing in a bag, and they can put it on their hook. And if we ask you to not bring any toys or snack money or sweets, anything that the children want to show and tell on our show and tell days, to be anything that they make in school, just because of restrictions with soft toys and things like that from home. Thank you. Our lunch times are fantastic. We've got Justina, who will provide lots and lots of lovely dinners for the children that they've experienced through the last couple of days they've been in school. So each morning the children will be asked what they would like for lunch. So it will either be a hot dinner or a jacket potato. So please, if you could discuss the options with your child in the morning or the night before, if possible. And we won't ever force children to have any piece of food that they don't like, but we would ask if there would be no nuts to be brought into school for a healthy snack or anything such as like that.
To me?
Yep.
Oh, you can carry on. So this is the section we normally talk about all the trips and visits, because we love getting out and about and doing lots of exciting things and having lots of experiences with the children. So I've changed the title of this slide to Subject to COVID-19, because we're not quite sure how much of this is taking place. We obviously will do our best to make sure as much of it as possible does take place, but and we put it on there because we don't know. No one knows what's happening, and we don't want to rule any of it out. So we're going to do as much as we possibly can, and just look out for any emails that are coming through. So we go to the church quite a lot. As you know, we're a Church of England school. You would normally have a grandparents' afternoon. I'm going to put money on that's probably not happening this year. Nativity, we'll figure out a way. We'll sort it, but it will look a bit different this year. We always do pancake races on Pancake Day. That will carry on as normal. Will Book Day will. Again, we usually have a class assembly, which you're invited to watch at some point in the year. We'll figure it out and we'll let you know. We're getting quite good at figuring things out now and making things work. We've always had an International Mud Day. That didn't happen last year because we weren't here, but will definitely happen this year. It's basically where the children get very, very muddy and have an absolute ball. We usually have our ducklings and chicks at the end of the year, and we normally do an end of year show, but July is a long way away, so we'll see what happens nearer the time. In terms of trips, we go see Santa, we go to the Story House, we do local area walks, and we would have buddy trips and libraries. Again, we'll let you know, we'll do our best, we will see how it goes. Things are a little bit different this year. In terms of the buddies, usually children would be allocated a year 6 buddy. At the moment, they are in a different bubble to us, and we cannot mix bubbles in school. So they haven't been allocated a buddy yet, but we are working with the year 6 team to figure out, again, something we can do, which is safe for everybody, but still gives the children those experiences of developing those relationships. Tapestry, my new favourite thing in the world. Didn't have it last time I was in reception, and now I'm absolutely obsessed. It's one of my favourite things to use, and lots of people I know had it at preschool or something similar. It's basically a record of your child's achievement and progress, and we put on videos, we put on photos, and we write what your children were doing that day, and it's a great insight for you to see what they're doing. Only we can see all of the children's learning journeys, but you can see your own, and you can add your own pictures, your own things they've done at home, and you can also respond kind of like social media. You can like things and you can send us messages back. So you should have all had the permission slips. They're really important that we get those back before we email you your link to log on, because it's GDPR, and it needs to be signed to say you're not going to put anything on social media, which obviously you can't do because there are children who are not allowed to go on social media. So it's for your own use. Please don't put anything we put on there on social media. And at the end of the year, you'll receive a copy of that learning journey. Phonics and kinetic letters. So basically reading and writing. So Letters and Sounds is a government scheme which was introduced in 2007. And it basically is one of the main ways that children learn to read and write. So it's got 6 systems and or phases as they call them. And we look at phase 1, 2, 3, 4, and potentially some of 5. So we do go a long way. We make a lot of progress, and we actually started phase 1 today, which is very, very exciting. I have put a video online which gives more information about phonics and reading. Please have a little look at that if you can, and let us know if you have any questions. But it works really well, the children love it, and we have lots of fun doing it. So Kinetic Letters is our whole school handwriting scheme. It's very different. You'll notice the font on this PowerPoint looks very different to ones you might have seen before. That's actually a Kinetic Letters font. The idea of the program is it makes writing automatic so the brain can focus on the content. So writing is quite a physical activity. You can be the best speller in the world, but handwriting is completely different, and it often holds children back in their writing, and we don't want that. So it develops their concentration and their fine motor skills. It's done through stories, it's done through loads of different games, and we do it every single day. It's taught throughout the whole school, but it does look a little bit different to the handwriting maybe you did at school. Your children will come home and be able to show you, and there's lots and lots of help on the school website. There's a Kinetic Letters tab that you can go and have a look, and if you Google Kinetic Letters, loads of things come up as well. So it's been really successful the past couple of years, and we're really proud of it. So reading and reception, there are lots of essential aspects, but there are 4 important ones: letters and sounds, which is our phonics. Being able to retell a story is really important. Comprehension, understanding the story, and then inference, so understanding what's not actually written on the page. So being able to say, how does he feel in the story? And even though it doesn't say it, you know the child feels sad because they've lost their teddy, for example. So there's all sorts of elements of reading. Your child's books they bring home will closely match their phonics phase. So when we start phase 2, that's where the books start. So as soon as we're on phase 2, those books will start coming home. And then there's lots of prompts in the books which will show you how to retell, how to ask comprehension questions and inference questions. In fact, they are brilliant, our home reading books. They've got them all in there. So please have a look, and please have a look at that video I've put online. It does tell you a lot more than I can tell you now, otherwise we'll be here all night. So all children learn to read in different ways and at different stages. So try to encourage your child to enjoy books at their own pace. Just because they're bringing home 1 or 2 phonics books that we've sent them doesn't mean you shouldn't be reading them. All the amazing storybooks that I'm assuming you're reading them right now, they're all really important as well. And children will learn to read at their own pace. We're not in a race to get them reading. We want them to love reading. Our main aim is that they become lifelong readers. And they're still picking up books at 30, 40, 50. And that's the most important thing, because it's a skill for life and we want them to love it. So sharing books at home is a fantastic way to get them reading and practicing other skills that aren't just phonics, so like your retelling and your comprehension. At the moment, your child's comprehension and retelling and inference will be even better than their phonics. So keep that up and keep asking them lots of questions. Maths. There are 2 main areas in maths: numbers and the number system, and shape, space and measure. So we use my other favourite thing in the world, which is number blocks, which we discovered last year. We use number blocks in here as our main way, and I know lots of the children have watched the videos already because they've already been telling us, they've already found the number blocks characters that we've got around the classroom, and they're all really excited as well. The main thing with maths, I would say, is we really focus on children's understanding of maths. So it's fabulous if your child knows that 100 at 100 is 200, but actually what we want them to do is understand the basics of numbers up to 20 and then slightly beyond 20. So we're not again in a race to know numbers to 1,000. We're looking at real understanding of numbers and the number system. So we'll be doing lots of adding and subtracting of numbers, lots of playing with numbers, lots of manipulating numbers, and the same with shape and space. And language is a really key component of early mathematics. They need to be able to talk about how they found their answer. So it's fabulous if you can remember even that 3 and 3 is 6, but if you don't know how you got there, if you can't explain to me how you'd worked it out, you're not going to be able to apply that when you do 33 add 3. So it's really important that you're asking children questions when they're doing all sorts of things, but in particularly when they're doing maths. Why and how? Those are 2 really key questions to ask all your children all the time, and they'll get sick of us. Sometimes they look at us and say, because I know. well, no, that's lovely that you know that, but why and how did you find that out, and why do you think that? It's really going to bring their learning on. So, you know, we don't expect you to be sat at home at night for hours working through workbooks with them. You know, we don't really set homework in here, but it might be that you're talking to your children about what they've done over the day, sharing their tapestry with them and asking them those why and how questions. They're going to be really, really important. So coming on to that, we don't really set homework in reception. Your child will come home with a reading record, so that you can record in there what books they've read at home, and we'll record in at school. In the middle of that reading record, there are phonic sounds that we can tick off, and we will tick them off when we've taught them. It doesn't mean your child has necessarily remembered them brilliantly, but we've taught them, so you know that they're the sounds that should be in their reading books. Read as much as you can, read every night, read all the time, read, I hope is the message of that video, my early reading video, and this video. Our website, weekly on a Friday, Miss Selwyn and I will write a blog that will update you on what your children have done in school, because they will come home and say they've done absolutely nothing all week, as Mrs. Forrester's nodding, because that's what Sebi used to do last year, I'm sure. But they actually have done lots of things, and we'll put that on the blog and you can talk to them about that. It will also have a little section on these are things you can do at home. So it might be that we've done shape that week. At home, you could talk about shapes while you're out and about going shopping or whatever you do that weekend. And there'll be a homework menu on our school website. Every class has a homework menu. It looks like a burger menu that you'd go to the restaurant, and it gives you sort of things to do at home. The children can bring in as an optional extra, or you can put on Tapestry and we can give out some house points for those. Again, it's all optional. The school website is an amazing source. Go on the Dormice page, the Hedgehogs page, you'll find loads of information, and obviously go on our Twitter and you'll see what the children have been up to. As much as we can, we put photos on. I think we are definitely the best year group for it. I'll claim that crown. Reception are better than most at putting photos on, because we're so used to taking photos for Tapestry, but we do try our best to get something on every day. So normally, again, we love having you in. We'd have you in as much as we possibly can, but according to COVID, that's not really happening right now, as you know. But again, if you want to know anything, go on the school website, go on Twitter. We haven't got a Monday mail anymore, that's a bit old, but Mrs. Forrester does send out emails with updates as often as she can, quite often weekly. There's a blog on our website. We'd normally have a mystery reader where we'd invite a parent to come in and read once a week, but again, I've left that on there because as soon as we're allowed to, that'll be the first thing we reopen, because it's one of my favourite things. We have parents' evenings, which I'm guessing will be Zoom, and you'll have a report at the end of the year, but you guys are extra lucky that you get Tapestry all year, and throughout the whole year you can see what your child's doing and where they're up to. Again, we'd normally have a curriculum hour where you could come in and watch us teach, but that's not be happening this year. But again, we're optimistic, we don't say no, so we'll leave it on there. And Mothering Sunday Grandparents won't be probably happening. PTA though, I'm going to put that on there because PTA is a fantastic organisation in our school. Our parents are amazing. They raise so much money for the school. They pay for our minibus. They pay for so many incredible things. We couldn't do what we do without our PTA. They are the best I've ever known. So if you can get involved, if you can spare time, that would be fabulous. I know Mrs. Forrester is having a meeting with the head of our PTA soon to discuss how we're going to continue to raise money to support our children in this time. But normally there'll be all sorts of fun things going on. They do bingo nights, they do the beer festival, they do a summer ball, they do a barbecue in the summer. They are very, very busy people, and if you would like to get involved with that, they would absolutely love to get to know you. And it's a really nice way to meet parents from different year groups as well and make some really good friends. So I'd highly recommend it. We usually meet at the pub, but again, not at the moment. We've done things we've done a bit differently for now, but in the future, they're a fantastic thing to be involved in. Okay, and that's enough of us. Mrs. Forrester, over to you. Are there any questions that we can answer? I don't know what to do now.
Okay, if you want to stop sharing your screen.
Oh, did I do that? Oh, yes, I do. Yes, thank you, Mrs. Forrester.
There you go. So if I now, it's So at the moment, there are currently 0 comments in the chat. So would anybody like to pop a question in there? Or has Miss Nicholas, Miss Selwyn done such a great job that you just don't need anything answering? If that's the case, just say, thanks, guys. We'll let you go. I'm sure some of you have got a question, though. So we'll give you a moment to type that in. I must say there has been a slight technical hitch, and the beginning of the meeting had a little bit of a moment with its recording. So it started recording from when you started, Miss Nicholas, talking.
Oh, I'm so upset about that.
So unless, Miss Selwyn, you want to go through your bit again.
They all want to hear it again.
So I'm really sorry about that. So we've got some comments saying amazing, thank you, and thanks for the great overview. So, Lily May's loving school, which is all down to you guys, so thank you. And another thanks from Mrs. Still. So there's just some lovely comments coming through. I think you must have nailed it, Miss Nicholas and Miss Selwyn, and covered everything. Well, don't worry, you can't think of a question now, that's absolutely fine. What you can do is you can send a question, any questions in, to the office. You can send them to the email, and we'll be able to get back to you. Apparently, Jamie loved PE today.
There you go, Mrs. Line. Well done.
There you go, well done, Mrs. Line. So wonderful. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon. Sorry it's so weird. It feels very strange for us because we love getting to know you at the events that we do in school. And at the moment, it just feels like we're a little bit removed from you. So hopefully this, will help you feel a little bit closer to us. So, but we're still really looking forward to getting to know you all. So, and Ben's loving it as well.
Good. I was going to say they've settled really, really well, considering, that they haven't had a huge amount of transition. They have settled brilliantly. Mrs. Palmer came in for the first time today and couldn't believe it, couldn't get over how used to the routines they were, how mature they were, how independent they were. And I popped out for a little meeting, and, they were just happy as Larry outside, and they've all just been brilliant today and every day, really. So they're a credit to everyone.
They're an absolutely wonderful cohort that have come in. So they are a credit to all you mums and dads who've done such a great job. And we're just really thankful that you chose to send them to us, because it's just been a joy seeing them in school, and they're having so much fun with the team. So it's been heartening to see. Someone's asked for first parents evening. We're discussing that. We're looking at the diary dates at our SLT because things are so different. We normally have those around the end of October, beginning of November, but we're re-looking at all those dates, and we'll be getting a little dates booklet out to you once we've got some dates to actually put in it, because there isn't a lot on there at the moment with all the restrictions that we're facing. Emma, what kinds of things are useful for parents to share on Tapestry?
So I can send everyone, which I'll do after this meeting, a little example of how Tapestry, what kind of things are useful on Tapestry. The kind of things we're looking for are wow moments, things that make you go, oh, I didn't know my child could do that, or I didn't know my child knew that. And then just take a little picture. And it's really important, I would say the most important thing is to write down exactly what your child says. So rather than putting it into adult speak, write it exactly as they say it, even if they've made a tiny little error in their speech, which is really common. It's just keep it in child speak, because then we can hear the child's voice coming through, and we can obviously monitor that speech as well. But loads of things. Sometimes parents will just put on things they've had a really nice weekend, and I just like seeing it. We like seeing how people do, and it's really nice to have those conversations. We can reply back. Over lockdown, it was amazing to be able to reply and to write things. And one family put on the most gorgeous weekend they'd had where they'd camped outside, and we just had a lovely chat. And then when the little girl came in on the Monday, we could talk about it, and it was really nice. And I hadn't seen her for a while, so it was lovely that we could share that chat together. So it's anything you guys want to put on. Don't worry, don't feel pressured to have just literacy or maths or anything academic, just whatever you guys are up to and whatever makes you really proud of your children.
Any arts or crafts? What Sarah did a lot last year is very little in the week, to be honest with you. He'd come home from school and say he'd done nothing. We would read, but then reading of an evening became a challenge because he was so tired. So then we moved it to reading in the morning. So that's all about finding what works for you. But then the dribs and drabs would come out at a weekend, especially if we were, got the arts and crafts things out. And then he'd start at one stage, he got some moulding clay and started making every number blocks character, which was something he was immensely proud of. So whatever things your children are proud of, and even those moments that make you smile, send them for Miss Nicholas and Miss Selwyn to see, because those are the moments that they make you smile, but there might be a really good example of a social skill that you've seen there. So just the things you enjoy about your children and those things that make you go, wow. Somebody's asked, what sort of things are they doing on PE days?
So Monday we focus on dance, music, movement and drama. And that's Mrs. Palmer and Mrs. Line behind us. And that focuses on their children's movement and coordination, listening skills, and that's what we usually put together to make an end of year show. And actually we also normally do a play halfway through the year. Last year we did 3 Pigs. We've also got a Gruffalo one, and we've got lots of little plays that we do which are build children's confidence, build their singing, their dancing, their music, their movement, being able to keep a time and a rhythm, which is why Mrs. Line's doing it, because it's not really my favourite thing. And then on a Tuesday it's ball skills, it's coordination, it's football, it's netball, it's whatever, it's sort of typical PE, and that's taught by Mr. Morris, the PE specialist. So that we've kind of split it up, but we run both all year, so they're getting those skills every week all year.
Thank you. And that's it on the questions. Unless, come on, and there's your last chance if there's anything you want to add. Is there anything else you wanted to say, Miss Selwyn or Miss Nicholas? Mrs. Line. Yeah. Very quiet there, Mrs. Line. I'm not used to it.
Normally.
I've done the Daily Mile today with the children. I'm shattered.
That's the thing we like to do, is the Daily Mile. They do that throughout the whole school, and Key Stage 2 do it every day. So yeah, Mrs. Line's got them cracking today on long distance running. We're actually very good at that as a school. We always do quite well in the cross country at the high school. We get them trained early.
Brilliant. Okay, right, so thank you everyone for joining us. We hope you found that really useful. I will put the recording of the meeting that I do have. We might see, Miss Selwyn, if we can do your bit up. We'll try and do something. Nikki, if you maybe stay online for us.
That's fine.
Do that little bit again, couldn't we? Okay, so thank you everyone. You take care if you'd like to leave the meeting now, and we'll try and sort that technical issue out.
Bye. See you tomorrow, everyone.
Bye.
Stop talking. Oh, make ourselves laugh.
Right. I'm going to pause. So I apologise for the back to front recording of our meeting due to our technical problems, which was probably me, that we had at the start of the meeting. We missed the first bit, so we're going to now redo the first part so that you get the second part first and the first part last. And then you can put it in the right sequence. So I'm going to hand over to Miss Selwyn, who's going to do the first part of the talk again. Thank you, Miss Selwyn.
Hi again. Okay, so this is what we are looking forward to during our presentation today. So we'll talk about a day in our classroom and what that looks like to the reception children. We will then talk about our outdoor provision and how fantastic this is using our school grounds. we'll begin to talk about how our child-initiated learning and how they choose, then how Tapestry is used in school, how English and maths prepares them for learning and life skills, and then how you can get involved in our school, the home learning and website, and trips and visits, and any questions you may have at the end. So this is what our school day looks like. We start off with registration at 9 o'clock in the morning, but you will be waiting on the steps at 5 to 9. So they'll come in, normally do some handwriting, and then we will move into maths, and they'll be in groups for that. So some will be choosing and some will be doing maths on the carpet, and then they'll swap over. And then we'll have break time. After break time, they'll come in and have their fruit and milk. And then after that, they will go straight into phonics and using those phonics skills to help them read and write. And then it will be lunchtime. And then through the afternoons, we will do a thematic approach. So that could be Make It Monday, Tell Me Tuesday, Wonder Wednesday, Thinking Thursday, and Fresh Air Friday. And then we normally end the day with a story, and then we go home. So this is just how our timetable looks to us all. So we normally start off with our writing program, which is our handwriting kinetic letters. So then we will go straight into maths and choosing, have our break time, phonics and choosing, and then those thematic approaches that we talked about before. And then on a Tuesday morning, we will have PE, where Mr. Morris will be teaching the children some PE skills by Premier Sport. And then on a Monday as well, if the children could come in their PE kits for Make It Monday, where they will do music, movement, dance and drama. And then on a Friday, we'll do some stories and our Fresh Air Friday for the afternoon. So a day in our classroom is really, really important for choosing, as everything we do is through our choosing, and the children get to really, really focus on what they really want to learn through the different things we have in our classroom. So we have things like our sandpit and our role play area and all the things that go from water, and lots of jigsaw and our construction area as well. So we have a fantastic outdoor learning provision for the children. We are really fortunate in our school that we have the forest, where we do lots and lots of campfires throughout the year, roast marshmallows, we do lots and lots of campfire songs, we have our mud kitchen, our water area outside, and the children last year really, really loved all the things that we have to offer. So we have our allotment as well, our woods and the local area, where that links nicely with our Fresh Air Friday. So our essentials for everyday use is our reading books and our reading records inside our book bag, and they stay in our tray, a water bottle that's labelled, and appropriate clothing such as a coat, hat, gloves, scarf, or a hat for when it's sunny like today. So if they could leave in school, their Wellington boots that are labelled, a spare change of clothes in a bag that they can leave on their hooks, and if possible, we don't need any toys, snack money, sweets, or anything like show and tell due to government guidelines. So anything that they've made from home, not to be brought into school. Our lunchtimes are fantastic as well. Our cook, which is Justina, she is really, really flexible, and each morning the children will be asked what they would like for lunch. So if you could please discuss the options with your child in the morning or the night before. They could have either a hot dinner or a jacket potato or a packed lunch from home. So our policy is that we will not force a child to eat, but if we could refrain from having any nuts in anything like their snack or a healthy snack, then that would be much appreciated. And I think that's where it ends, Miss.
And that's where I hope the start of the video started. So just take a slight overlap. This is a list of the normal activities that would take place with the reception class. However, there's so many changes due to COVID restrictions that we've really just got to wait and see if we're able to do them. As soon as we can, we will start doing all the wonderful things we've done before. So don't worry, your child might not get all of these experiences, but they'll get a lot of experiences that we come up with that might be quite different, or they might be virtual versions of these. So we'll be working on those things, won't we, Miss Selwyn?
We will indeed.
Right, so hopefully you've seen the full presentation. So I do apologise, we aren't experts at this, for our thing. So we'll put this on YouTube, and it will go on to the Dormice and the Hedgehogs class pages, so you can watch it whenever you like and see if you can put the bits together. Thank you for everyone who could join us, and if you couldn't join us, thank you for watching, and we'll say cheerio.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye now.